Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam. If you happen to be new, but new or old, thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to stop by, hang out with me, listen to my big mouth. Okie doke. Today, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite common plants. I just have a few really cool plants that I have pulled from my collection to shine some light on today and share with you guys and show them some love. If this sounds like your jam, stick around, hang tight, and let's jump right on into the common plants that I am currently loving. First up, you guys know how I feel about the Australis Lisa. I absolutely adore her. I started out with a regular Australis, and I quickly discovered this is definitely my fastest growing Hoya. Yeah, the camera just doesn't quite do her justice. I'm sure this plant would greatly appreciate something to climb, but honestly, I don't think I could keep a trellis or anything like that in her pot because she would just completely cover it and be growing off of it. So for now, I'm just kind of letting her trail and do her thing. I don't know if you call this trailing. It's more like invading because her tendrils just go everywhere, all up in all my other plants. She's insane. So the Hoya Australis has very cool, round, chubby leaves. She's just constantly shooting out new tendrils, pushing out leaves on them. I have not got her to bloom yet. I feel like Hoya Australis is a pretty common plant. You can get them at any given time for decent sized pots for hardly anything. So rewarding. They're very easy to propagate. To me, they are common, especially in the world of Hoyas. So yeah, Hoya Australis, she is wild, wild, wild. Next up, Cebu Blue. It's actually kind of interesting because where I live, the Cebu Blue would not really be considered common because we rarely ever get these in. I never see them out. So whenever I do see a Cebu Blue, I'm just kind of like taken back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get it. This is common to most of the world, I think, but it's actually not that common here. Anyway, just a fun little fact. Grows like a weed. I mean, it's incredible. And the Cebu Blue actually really reminds me of Monstera stiltepecana. So if you have been wanting to get your hands on a stiltepecana and you just haven't yet, this might be a great alternative, especially if they sell them in your local garden centers, big box stores, because they do have a lot of similarities, including the leaf shape and the blue hue to the leaves, and also the growth habit. So the Monstera stiltepecana is a pretty fast grower. Cebu Blue trumps that by a long haul because it never stops growing and it just never disappoints. I don't really ever have any issues with pests. I don't know that I've ever actually seen a spider mite or webbing on these plants. They're incredibly easy to propagate. They're just so dang beautiful as well. The color of the leaves, it blows my mind that a plant can be this color and be this beautiful. So Cebu Blue definitely made this list. Can't go wrong with a big lush full pot of one of these beauties. Oh gosh, that was stupid, Samantha. I was trying to be cool and quirky. That did not work out for me, y'all. I got dirt everywhere. Like literally, what am I doing? Let's try this again. Yes. Stromant Triostar. You can see, this one's a little bit thirsty, as you can see. These are my two Stromant Triostars. This is my original. I got this one off of Amazon, you guys, and the beginning of January, 20 bucks free shipping. I'm an Amazon Prime member, you know, got that membership. So free shipping, no heat packs available, of course, no insulation, and she showed up and lost every single one of her leaves due to cold damage, of course, and was down to a bare pot, but she immediately started growing back, like boom, 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 right away. Triostar is in the prayer plant family, so she does open and close her leaves throughout the day and night, so something that I really love about her as well. Now, I have heard people say that these plants are more finicky and that they can't really keep theirs looking beautiful, or they have issues with them crisping. That has just not been my experience with this plant. Granted, I do give my prayer plants, whether it be Stromant, Calathea, Maranta, whatever they are, I give them filtered water. I don't give them tap water. I think that's the biggest issue that people really have with prayer plants in general. They don't like tap water and they don't react well to it. And I think that's what causes most of the crisping and damage to their leaves. So just a little tip, if you're trying to grow one of these and can't really keep it happy, they don't like tap water. Anyways, you can see this one here has a lot more white on the leaves, those fuchsia pink backs. It really makes for a gorgeous houseplant, a nice centerpiece. It just really catches your eye when you walk into a room and somebody has a nice full lush pot of the Triostars. They're so gorgeous. I have noticed that she's lost most of her white. She does still have some leaves with white on them. We have new leaves popping in absolutely everywhere. In my experience, both of these have been extremely vigorous growers. If I let them dry out too much, I will get some crispy leaves, but they never really stop giving me new growth at the same time. So watering is really the biggest thing when it comes to the Triostar from what I've noticed. I'm actually really loving how this one kind of lost the white. I mean, you do still see kind of like a feathering down through the middle of the leaf, that little white strip, but I can't remember what the other variety is called. It's a Stromant that doesn't have the white on it. It's just like the green leaf. This is what this looks like now. So colorful, so resilient as well. Like if you lose all their leaves, it was just so easy for me to get this one to grow back so quickly. They're head turners for sure, okay? Next up is gonna be this guy here that's kind of peeking in frame, and that is string of turtles. The string of turtles is actually a Peperomia prostata. So I have 3 string of turtles hanging out around my house. This is my largest pot, and just look at him. He is actually living in my grow tent, but pulled all the way back from the grow light. One thing I have noticed through trial and error is that you would assume this plant likes really, really bright direct light, or at least I did. They do like really bright light and they like lots of it. However, if you give them too much bright light, I noticed that it does tend to bleach their leaves, and then you no longer have turtles. They're just kind of little circles with no pattern on them because they're bleached out. If you want to keep that really cute little turtle shell pattern on the leaves and you notice that maybe it's kind of fading, maybe try pulling it back just a little bit from the light source and see if that helps. I have definitely learned a lot with collecting these. They are a little bit more on the finicky side when it comes to the lighting, their watering. It was definitely a learning curve for me, but I think I finally got them figured out. As I said, this is my biggest one and it's also my best looking one, and it looks like so far he's really, really happy in the grow tent because he's just been busting off since I put him in there. New growth coming in everywhere. We've got some blooms coming in right here. I really enjoy growing peperomias. They all have different care, it seems. Like I don't think I can do just like a generalized peperomia care video because there's just so many different types and leaf textures. Yeah, there's just so many different kinds of peperomia, and the care for each of those different kinds really varies from plant to plant, variety to variety. So I adore the little turtle shell design on the leaves. I really love how when all the new shoots are coming in, they're just kind of like wild and reaching out like little arms on all different directions. It's so cute. Their blooms, super underwhelming, but basically all peperomia blooms are. So it's definitely not a plant that we buy for the blooms, right? It's a foliage plant, but I love all my turtles, even my scraggly looking one. Okay, let's just go ahead and get all the peperomias out of the way. While we're at it, shall we? This is a Peperomia Hope, and this is one that whenever I see this plant, I do not think peperomia. You know, a lot of other peperomias, like the more thinner leaf peperomias, kind of, I don't know, they just have this look to them that screams like, hey, look at me, I'm a peperomia. This one just doesn't have it. So this is more of a thick leaf peperomia. As you can see, the leaves are just like little coins. It actually really reminds me of the silver dollar vine, but it's much faster growing, trust me. So, and I got this as a little itty bitty plant, believe it or not. It has actually grown quite a lot. I do notice that these stems, it has these really thick succulent like stems. My main issue with the stems is that they kind of lay over on my other plants, and if I go to pull a plant out from beside it or behind this plant, a lot of the times the stem will catch on it and it'll just snap it off. So the stems are kind of delicate like that, but otherwise it's a super hardy plant, super hardy peperomia, really fast growing. It can really handle under watering, unlike its thinner leafed cousins. Because its leaves and stems are so thick, it really holds on to water for a good amount of time, so you don't have to water it nearly as often. It doesn't care about humidity. It's not really a terrarium peperomia, and it's actually supposed to have this almost watermelon-ish type of design on the leaves, but mine lost that a very, very long time ago. I don't know if it's because of how much light I've given it, but I don't have to do anything for it. It sets in there on my little succulent shelf and acts like all of my other succulents. It fits right in on my succulent shelf and I don't have to worry about it. So the leaves will get a little bit soft when she's thirsty. I know to give her a good water. And other than that, she's just super easy. I'm really a sucker for these round, chubby leaves. Any plant that has like circular, round, thick leaves like this, I tend to be really drawn to. Full pots of these, cheap as heck. And if you're a succulent lover as well and you're just kind of tired of the standard typical succulents that you find at local garden centers, maybe this would be one that you'd be interested in trying because it does definitely give off those succulent vibes. I hope to have her for a very, very long time. All right, this is my gorgeous kind of wild philodendron. This is a philodendron. I think it goes by lemon lime, but it's the upright lemon lime, not the trailing heart leaf. Well, it's supposed to be upright, but as you can see, mine is trailing. So this actually sits on a shelf cascading down in my living room. It's wonderful. I love it. I got this from Gabriella Plants a couple of years ago, and it was just a little thing. I mean, it was so small, it wasn't trailing, it was still growing upwards, and I actually got two, and I sent one to one of my other plant friends. And we had twinsy plants. It was really cute. And this is how far mine has came. He just continues to grow and grow. I have taken a few cuttings. So the color of these leaves, it is beautiful. It's so vibrant. It's like a lime green, yellowish color. It's gorgeous. And when the new leaves come in, they are even more of a bright lime green color. The thing I like about this one a lot is the fact that the leaves really stay that lime green color. So they do fade down to a little bit of a darker green from that bright, almost yellow color. It still stays pretty neon in contrast to other green plants. It also has these kind of pink petioles, kind of like the painted lady. And I really love that. I love the pink petioles and the lime green yellowish leaf. So this is definitely a super, super fast grower. I mean, it never stops. This is pretty low light tolerant as well. It tells you whenever it's thirsty, so its leaves will start drooping. It was actually drooping yesterday, and I decided to give it a water. So I think some of the leaves are still a little bit droopy from that underwatering, but see, here's one of the newer leaves here. You can tell it's like a little bit more yellow, whereas this is more of a lime green, but it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's even more beautiful in person, you guys. The camera really doesn't do this plant justice, and I love that it is a philodendron that's not meant to be a trailing philodendron, but this plant has decided, hey, I'm gonna be a trailing philodendron. It works so beautifully for him. Definitely had to include this guy. He is for sure a favorite. This is another Hoya. This is Hoya abavada. Just mentioned how much I love round, thick, chubby leaves. Opie is a prime example of that. Peperomia Hope has smaller, more dainty little leaves, whereas the abavada has these big, giant, like gorgeous round leaves. I also mentioned in my last video that I don't care too much about the Hoya carrii and that I much prefer the abavada to the carrii. Well, this is the abavada I was talking about, and yeah, I love it so much, especially in this planter. Isn't it just so, so cute, you guys? I really want to get a nice cute little trellis to put in here with him. I think he would really appreciate that. He was just kind of like popping off with growth all summer long, and then once fall got here, it's definitely slowed down on his growth. I don't see any new leaves on him now, but that's pretty typical for plants to slow down during the winter months, so I'm not concerned about it. The flecking, the little spots on the leaves, is almost a really light blush pink color. Like, look at that. Can you all see that? It's really, really pretty. It's really subtle, but it's still very beautiful. And I noticed the higher the light I give this guy, the more pink that splashing becomes. I would never find this where I live. However, it is a very common Hoya. They're fast growers, and it's not super expensive at all. So how to include little Opie. Some of these plants, you know, are just extra near and dear to my heart, and this is definitely one of them. I think that's pretty well going to do it for this video. Just wanted to sit down and share with y'all some of my favorite, more common, easier to find, less expensive houseplants. Feel free to leave your thoughts, comments, opinions, all of that down in the comments below. If you have any of these plants, I'd love to hear your experience with them. Also, it would be really cool if y'all wanted to leave some of your favorite common plants down in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you wanna. And other than that, I'll see y'all really soon in my next video. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate you. Bye.